It has been said that home is where the heart is. What happens when the heart of the home is ripped out and transplanted into what is essentially a new structure? A house is just walls and floors, but it is the human touch that gives the physical structure meaning. And despite its tired look, its leaky roof, and odd configuration, our 1938 Craftsman bungalow was home. So, it was with some trepidation when we finally gave the go-ahead to start the demolition. We had spent countless appointments with the architect exploring various configurations. We'd even gone to the city with a plan, only to back down. In the back of my mind, I kept hearing Rick's words about the importance of looking at every possible configuration so there would be no regrets afterward. Still, when the thud of the first backhoe came crashing down, there were so many questions still ahead, and it seemed overwhelming. Our old house forced us to be together to some extent, and probably was a factor in how we developed as a family. Would the new version be the same, or would it be shiny new but isolating? David, our general contractor, assured us by painting a vision of what it would be like when it was done. His estimated 6 to 8 months for completion put us right at the beginning of winter. We were wondering how the trailer we were planning on living in would hold up in the winter rain and cold. One of the first challenges that Sousa and his crew faced was ensuring that we could actually live on site in a trailer while they gutted and rebuilt the house. They literally rolled out the carpet for us to make our temporary domicile home. At certain points during the demolition, it seemed like the roof was held by toothpicks and that the entire building would collapse. In fact, as the layers were peeled back, it became obvious from the bowing roof, the lack of foundation in the front wall, and the tilting porch that it was only a matter of time before our house would collapse, similar to the old barns one sees on an old farm. Over the decades, the house had been added onto in a rather haphazard way. So the interior flow didn't make sense. The water and electrical infrastructure was a mishmash from the 30s to the 80s. Add to that 17 years of deferred maintenance while we debated the best way to move forward, and it was a mess. It is the infrastructure part of the house, the stuff that's somewhat hidden now, that's where Dave and his crew excel. As we passed one inspection after another, it became obvious that they knew what they were doing. With spring turning to the heat of summer, the sweat and hard work was turning a tired old house into something fresh and ready for at least another 75 years of living. And as the house was opened up, it opened up to the neighborhood, and we heard stories from neighbors about the house and its history. It apparently had been moved from down the block where it resided as a house for the egg ranch. It was clear that this house reflected the lives of many families before us. And it was easy to be impressed by Sousa's extended contracting family. They had great advice and were amazingly flexible in responding to our indecisiveness. They would do everything to make sure the end result is what we wanted, even if we didn't know what it was we wanted. They went beyond the ordinary, such as when Gerardo suggested a more complex tile pattern, which caused him more work, but improved the original design. Or when Ernesto repainted the porch ceiling, or when he painted on his birthday to keep the installation of the flooring on schedule. Rick, the architect, had preserved the craftsman feel of the house while modernizing the interior. He had warned us we were on our own in determining things like cabinets, molding, and other design choices. Fortunately, Dave and John guided us through the many decisions that had to be made. They went beyond that, however, providing design touches that made a difference, such as the living room soffit or the expanded porch opening. We were fortunate to meet Lauren at All Natural Stone, who not only walked us through our countertop and tile selections, she told us what colors to paint the various rooms. She even came over during her day off to check the progress. We also came to rely on the taste of all the guys from Sousa Construction, John, Tom, Sean, Ray, Eric, Ralph, to help us make our selections, whether it was flooring, handles, or back deck. Without their counsel, it would have been difficult to get through the process. Working from home, I had a chance to spend quite a bit of time in their company. Spending my days with them became the new normal, and it was a fun change of pace for me. Being there was convenient, as I was able to make decisions and understand the reasons for decisions. It also opened my eyes to the work they did to create a new structure for a home that will serve my family and the families of others for decades and maybe centuries to come. And Dave was right with his vision for what this house could become.